Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Khalik. Dear fellows, how are you? Whatever habits and attitudes we have developed over time, that and these are either strengthening us or weakening us, making us more likable to win and to succeed in the life or otherwise. But every habit and every attitude is one way or the other having impact upon our life, either positive or negative. Today we are going to talk about Today we are going to talk about the habits. Seven habits which are making us weak. Seven habits that are making us weak. We need to eliminate, eradicate, we need to get rid of these habits so that we are not getting further and further weak. So that we are not more and more weakening ourselves. This way our life will be transformed. What are those seven habits? What are these seven habits? Let's look upon these one by one. The first one is complaining about the things outside your control. Complaining about the things outside your control. Here in our society, in a society like that of Pakistan and other similar countries, people are very often complaining to their government. So we do have very, very, very little control over that. For all that reason, either very little or no control. So why to keep complaining about all that? It is better to think about the things which are inside, which are under our own control. So, for that reason, it will be far, far better for us. It will be far, far better for us, dear friends, not to complain, not to think much about the things which are outside our control. Number two, blaming others for your problems. Blaming others for your problems. Why to blame others for my problem? Why not to look after, why not to take care of my problem? Why not to try to solve my own problem? Why to blame others? Why not to take the responsibility? It was my responsibility to prevent myself from these problems, and it is also my responsibility to solve them. So, blaming other people for one's own problem, that's also an habit which is weakening us. Number three, indulging in excessive players. Indulging in excessive players. Player, that is fine. If at all it's not bad for our health, if it is not bad morally, ethically, if it is not bad for our financial health, so players, a moderate level of these, that is quite okay. But indulging in excessive players, that is something which is definitely weakening us, and we need to avoid that. Number four, letting your emotions rule you. Emotions are integral and inseparable part of a human life. But if at all we are overly emotional and it is emotion which is ruling us, it actually means that the decisions we are taking, the attitudes we have adopted are going to be illogical and irrational. Anything which is illogical and irrational, I think that is going to make us further and further weak. So, for all that reason, we need to avoid it. Emotions are okay, but keep all these emotions in check and let's become a rational person. The more rational we are, the better our life is going to become. As far the emotions are concerned, emotions, the release of these emotions does gratify us, but momentarily. Later on, the same sort of emotion which we had, which has ruled us, is going to make our life more miserable and more weak. So instead of letting the emotions rule our life, it is far better to let the logic and the rationality rule our life. Number 5, being overly concerned being overly concerned with the fame and future. Of course, we are concerned with our fame. What sort of reputation have we got? And what is going to be my future, your future? We are concerned about our fame and future. But since everything in excess is a bad one, so this actually makes us overly cautious. And being a cautious person, exercising the caution that is important and necessary, but being overly cautious, it does not allow us to take any step, or it makes us a totally robotic person, not a human being. Everything else in the moderation, I think it is okay. So the seventh is fearing, fear of failure and other fears, and the fear of death as well. I think fear of failure, first of all, to take the fear of failure, I think that the failure should not frighten us, because if at all we are that much frightened of the failure, I think that we are going to become a failure. That is the law of attraction. And also, if at all we are that much dreadful of the failure, I think failure is not going to teach us. Otherwise, the failure is a very good teacher. Failure actually means it is our learning process. Let's to take it as a learning. Why to take it as a failure? It is not a failure at all. It is rather going to make our future attempts much better. So it's not a failure at all. As for the fear of death is concerned, each and every one of us have to die. Each and every one of us have to die. Nobody is exempted from that, and nobody was ever exempted from this. No matter how intelligent or genius they were, no matter how influential or powerful they were, no matter how healthy or strong, how rich and wealthy they were. So, if at all this be the case, if at all it is absolutely and totally unavoidable, why to be afraid of that? Simply, we need to take care of our safety. Simply, we need to take care of our health, and that is enough, not beyond that at all. Let's have a very quick revision of all those seven habits which are making us weak. A very quick revision. First of all, it is complaining about the thing outside your control. This is going to make us weak. Number two, blaming others for your problems. Indeed, this too is going to make us weak. Number three, indulging in excessive pleasure. This habit is also players going to make us weak. Number four, letting your emotions rule you. This habit will make us weak. Number five, being overly concerned with fame and future. This habit is making us very weak. Number six, dwelling in the past. We skipped it. And dwelling in the past, we don't need to dwell in the past. The past mean we need to learn whatever we can from our experiences in the past, and we need to forget it. We need to learn. That is the only source, the only thing which we should be taking out of the past is to learn from our experiences, to learn from our mistake, and that's enough. If at all if we take it as very much unpleasant, it is only because the way we were thinking about that, the way we are thinking about that, we need to change our thinking. And if at all we think that our past was a very good one and our present is a very bad one, that is also the wrong sort of thinking. All think that we need not to excessively think at all. We don't need to be an overthinker at all. Overthinking is the worst kind of thing which we can do, which we do with ourselves. I think that is that makes us absolutely important. So we don't need to live in the past at all. Learn whatever we can from the past mistakes, from the past experiences, and plan for the future. Live in the present. We need to live in the present. We need to spend maximum of our attention as far our today, as far our present is concerned. This way, our past will automatically will become a good one. Our future will also become a good one. Why? Because we are trying to utilize every given day, every given hour and minute, the best possible one. So I think these are the seven habits which are making us weak, and we need to overcome these seven habits so that we are better able to transform our life. Thank you.